Hello, my name is Chef Jenny Emery, and today we are going to make seared duck breast with Stoneridge Orchard's dried cherry sauce. Alright, so now we're going to sear the duck breast. Duck is amazing and super flavorful, and part of the reason for that is the thick nature of the skin. But to make that crispy and delicious, you've got to render the skin down. So that means searing its skin down for a while until you render that fat out. To do that, you've got to score the skin. To score the skin, you run a sharp knife without pushing down. You do not want to cut into the meat. You just want to cut the skin to the top surface of the meat. You see that? That's what you're looking for. And then you turn it on the side, and you do some more. And that is scoring your duck breast. We're gonna do all three of them like this. To sear the duck breast, you've gotta have a preheated pan. So I'm gonna turn that on and preheat it for us. Nice high heat. When you season your meat, do it from up above just a little bit. You get more of an even coating of the seasoning. If you do right above, you'll end up with clumps and spaces and not an even seasoning. So in we go with our duck breast. Remember, skin side down, that's what we're doing right now. We are searing the duck breast and we're rendering the fat down on that duck breast. See how I'm up above? I'm gonna give it much better even coating. While those duck breasts are searing, I'm going to start the ingredients for the duck sauce. Here are our Stoneridge Orchard's dried cherries. See how beautiful they are, big and plump? So we're just going to rough chop these. Do not have to be exact. This way you'll get little bites and little morsels in your cherry sauce. And then put them aside into a bowl. We're going to rough chop our fresh thyme. See what these guys are doing over here. Now when your meat is seared on one side and is ready to come up, it will come up on its own. So if you feel like you've got to tear at your meat to get it up off the pan, it's not ready yet. We've gotten to the point where our duck breasts are ready to be flipped over. See that? See how caramelized it is? You got a nice brown on that skin. If you do not render the skin is chewy and fatty. It's not enjoyable. So I'm going to put these in the oven. Now that I've flipped them over, I'm going to put them in the oven and allow them to finish. So we've cut up our dried cherries, our fresh thyme, and now we're going to cut up our shallot. Shallot is basically a mix between an onion and garlic, as if onion and garlic had children. So, cut off the front, the top and the bottom of your shallot. Peel off the outside, just like you would with an onion or a piece of garlic. Okay. Now shallots are a little sweeter than onions, a little spicier than garlic. And when I cut them in half so they don't roll around. And I cut them longwise into julienne pieces, brush them off, turn them to the side, and give them another quick rough chop, which will give us a mince. That'll be beautiful in our sauce. Pull those duck breasts out of the oven. Put them to the side to rest. Your duck needs to rest a good 5 minutes before it's ready to slice. If you sear duck and slice it right away, the blood is going to run out of your duck and it is going to be dry, and you are not going to enjoy it the way you expect. I poured a little bit of the duck fat off. Now I'm going to drop in my shallots. Let them start to cook. Now in goes our fresh thyme. Now in go our beautiful dried cherries. Alright, I'm going to allow those to caramelize, the shallots that is, to gather a little bit of color in the pan. Now remember that there's a little salt and pepper in here already from searing the duck breast, so be aware of that when you season. But I'm still at this point going to add a little bit more salt, say about a teaspoon, and some pepper. Now comes the moment when we deglaze. Now we have all of our ingredients in except for the butter. We're going to allow this to reduce for 5 to 7 minutes, let's say, until it's a nice sauce consistency. So here we go. So your sauce does not necessarily need to be watched, but it's beautiful, and you want to check on it maybe every 2 minutes just to make sure that the reducing isn't happening too fast. If you'll notice here in the pan, we've got little bubbles coming up. Those little bubbles mean that we still have a liquidy consistency going on. As this reduces, you'll notice the bubbles are going to get bigger. Those bubbles are representing how thick the sauce is. So same thing when you're reducing balsamic vinegar for a syrup. You want to watch the size of the bubbles that are happening. When they get big, about the size of your thumb fingernail, it's time to turn it off and let it cool. It smells wonderful. The acidity from the wine and the sweet from the cherries and the fat from the duck is just one of my favorite things. In a few minutes, we're going to dump in the cold butter, and we're just going to stir it with a wooden spoon until it's all incorporated, and that is with the heat off. And that'll give us that perfect sauce consistency. So we've allowed our duck breasts to rest. It's been about 5 minutes. So now they're ready to cut. Remember, if you do not let your duck breast rest, it's just going to bleed out all of its moisture and it's going to be dry and livery. So you want to do nice thin slices on your duck breast. When you slice it nice and thin like this, you get smaller bites. It makes it that much more tender. All right, look at that. That's a nice mid-rare in the middle. With your game meats, such as duck, you want it mid-rare to medium. The more you cook your game meats, the more livery and the more gamey they become. So we've got that same fresh thyme from the garden that we thought we'd put down on our plates. Go in with some of this beautiful cherry sauce, drizzle it along the plate. Right. Here's our duck. And a little more sauce across the top, just for a little cherry garnish. And there you go, seared duck breast for the whole family.